Good evening. I'd like to start by thanking God for blessing me with a certain amount of talent, but for moreover placing me in an environment which provided significant positive incentive for me to work hard and make the most of my talent. Now, I'm sure that all of you here this evening would agree that talent and hard work are necessary parts of anyone's success story. But you know, I don't know if they're really, in fact, the most important ingredients. It's been over 36 years since I've laced on a boxing glove. And down through those years, I've come solidly to the conclusion that the critical mass, the determining factor, is to be found in the hearts and minds of those people who held out a helping hand, gave a timely word of advice, or simply listened patiently and understandingly to a torrent of frustration and disappointment. My list of such people is much too long to treat adequately in the time that's allotted to me here this evening. But at the top of any list would be my wife of over 39 years, Lillian. Now, I don't really mean to rank these. You saw a picture of a guy. Look, you be quiet. But she is number one, and there's no denying that. But you saw a picture of a guy who was my teammate throughout the entire 4 years that I was at Michigan State, by the name of Bob Epperson. You know, Bob became my unsolicited, unpaid public relations manager extraordinaire. It was Bob who kept my name in front of the august selection committee, and I want to say with all due appreciation that I am thankful for them for coming to the wisdom of Bob's counsel. Bob Epperson, would you take a little bow? Another gentleman who played a highly significant role in my coming to Michigan State and making it possible for me to finish from this great institution has already been heralded to a degree, George Macris. George was actually, and I don't mean to correct your research, but George was actually my athletic director and football coach at Bolling Air Force Base. Now, you had to know about Bolling Air Force Base in the middle 50s. Any football player that went to a Midwest school that made All-American went to bowling if he had an ROTC obligation. So I met Al Dorrell, I met Johnny Latner, I met Ralph Guglielmi. In fact, I met Johnny Latner, and we could put 11 All-Americans on the field and have 22 more chomping at the bit to go out there. So anyway, after finishing my boxing career and having been extended six months so I could compete in the All Air Force, the Worldwide Air Force Tournament, I went into George Macris' office one morning. I said, George, you know, I've always admired Michigan State and I would like to go there. George got immediately on the phone, and before I left that office, I felt very good because I had an inkling of a chance to go to Michigan State. And so George Macris is a very, very deeply appreciated man in my life, and he's one of the kinds of people that make it possible for little people to do some things of value. George is, as has been pointed out, vacationing, that is, I mean retired, in his home in Medford, Mass. Medford, New Jersey, I'm sorry. Another gentleman that some of you people that's been around Michigan State a few years might recognize, who's an alumnus of Michigan State and who's the former Deputy Postmaster General. And his name is Fred Beelan. Fred's sister, I'm sure those around the Lansing area certainly know, Lucille Beelan, is notable for her outstanding contributions as a public servant. It was Fred's wise counsel and fatherly oversight that allowed me to spend a long, productive career as a civil servant, and I certainly wanted to recognize him here this evening. We've already talked about Jack Brodsman, but I don't think we can say enough about Jack, the late Jack Brodsman, and his assistant, Al Issett. Al has also departed these mortal vines. But you know, as I think of them tonight, looking down from some celestial perch, I believe that as they gaze down upon this assembly, they do so with a deep sense of pride. It is the same strong sense of pride that I feel knowing that I have become a small part of this great university's history. Thank you.